Someone's gonna catch them doing this here, and it's gonna be fun when they do it. Feels like we're back in Bussy Break Swamp. Stage 2, we're here, Santee Cooper Lakes. Let's break it down. Santee Cooper is a historic fishery in the bass fishing world. Been a lot of tournaments held over here over the last 20, 30 years. However, I've never fished a tournament here. It's new water to me. One thing that I was surprised of, it is massive. 170,000 acres. Like, you look at it on a map, and you're like, it's got 2 lakes, they're medium sized. We just came from Toledo Bend. Well, the 2 lakes together, they're as big as Toledo Bend. And so when I got here, I was quickly shocked at how big and treacherous this place is to get around. It's really a tale of 2 lakes. You've got a flat bowl on Moultrie, a lot of grass. I mean, it's deeper than Okeechobee, but it's a circle, relatively flat. And then you've got Lake Marion, which is a little bit more of like your typical reservoir. A lot of standing timber in it. Very, very dangerous to get around on, especially on the north end. You've got massive swamps. I mean, you can get lost in miles and miles of cypress trees. It's 2 different bodies of water that fish completely different. Both bodies of water have very big fish, and at both bodies of water, you can win this thing. So choosing the correct lake where it's gonna go down this week is gonna be really important. This practice, much like Toledo Bend, consisted of a lot of this. Day 1, I decided to spend my day down in Moultrie, kind of sampling the grass and trying to fish some offshore stuff out there to locate a school of fish. Caught several big fish. They were few and far between, but man, it was hard to get a bite. And you know, I did hook one really big one. That's a bass. That I was sure was a big bass, and unfortunately, no, it's a mudfish. Mudfish. I caught one over 5 and one almost 7. It was a 615 on my scales. And while those are great bites, I tried really, really hard to get more bites in those areas to try to expand, and I could not make it happen. So very quickly, I scratched the plan of Lake Moultrie. Day 2, headed to Marion.
And then did you get any footage day 2?
I got no footage on day 2. Well, I mean, I can talk about day 2. Day 2 was my best day of practice, though. Did I get one single fish catch? I don't think I did I?
Camera, no.
Not a single fish catch. So sorry, guys. All you missed was me looking for brush and live scoping. I caught 5 bass that day. They weren't miles and miles apart. They weren't random. They were sitting on specific pieces of cover. So that gives me a lot of confidence to kind of hunker down and try to break down Marion the best that I can. And that brings us to day 3.
I didn't sign a waiver to be in any photography. Please don't sign that out.
Take that up with him, not me.
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
I figured. Man, those look like fish right there. There's brush under this dock. Those are bass, Tyler. I finally just had them track right there. Sorry, there's a boat right next to me. I kind of had all this stuff to myself up here yesterday. I think everybody started up here and then went elsewhere. And then this morning, dude, everybody's idling. I've seen like, I mean, it's foggy and I can't see, and I've seen like 5 boats, you know?
Yeah.
So there's a big one. I knew I saw one in there. I had a bite. He didn't want the jerk bait, but I threw old Mr. Colorado blade with the billow shad down there, and he said, hello, thump. That's the kind of stuff right there that if you had a lot of local knowledge, you'd beat everybody's brains in by being like, come here and make this one cast. Morning. What'd you say? How cold is it? So cold I couldn't hear you say how cold it is. My ears are frozen. Cold enough where I'm ready for it to get warmer and for the sun to come up. There's a lot of guys running this pattern, so I'm seeing a lot of boats, which doesn't really surprise me because a lot of the lake's blown out. It's low, you know, it takes a lot of the shallow opportunities away. It just makes the fish small, but you know, you got to kind of hunker down where you can and try to make the most of every situation, and that's really all you can do. Me? Off the takeoff dock.
Out of bounds?
I don't know. We'll find out at the meeting tonight. There's 3 of them right there, though. I thought it was going to be a crappie. I knew he was little. I need to figure out if this is out of bounds. If it's not, there's fish on this stuff. Maybe there's like 4 of them on that pole. You can't hardly fish for those is the problem. There's a lot of like non-bass type stuff, but there's also some bass under here for sure. And they're all sitting under the dot, not on the corner of the pole. Hey Daniel, how are you?
Good, I think I just saw you.
Yeah, you did. I was just saying, is there any off limits for like takeoff anywhere here?
No specific off limits right
Okay.
here, sir.
All right, just making sure. Thank you, sir.
You got it, buddy.
Appreciate it. There we go. I can fish that dot. All right, let's go.
Where are we going?
We might go a little further, so I think we may go way further actually.
Way further.
Yeah. I need to come get some of this stuff out of my system. We made a really long run. I did not think it was going to be that long, so I ran from Tawkaw Creek up to, I think this is called like Jack's Slough. And I was thinking, oh, this is a 10-minute boat ride. And it might be if you know how to like sneakily run the bank or something up here, but I had to run the river channel. It was a 25-minute boat ride on calm water. But this is more the Santee Cooper everybody knows and loves right here. I mean, we may or may not get a bite doing this. I think it's kind of a needle in a haystack, but someone's gonna catch them doing this here, and it's gonna be fun when they do it. Feels like we're back in Bussy Break Swamp. I have a feeling it's not gonna be quite as good here though. Here at Santee this week, the conditions are not favorable. We've got low, muddy, and cold. And when you're fishing a swamp, that's not a great combo. Probably been 10 days now. They had a massive flood. And so they've got the lake pulled down because there's so much water coming through the system. Them flushing the current like that, man, it makes everything muddy. I mean, you got to go way back in a backwater to not be somewhere that's just blowing out mud. So, dude, I'm already over this. If we don't get bit like by that point, I'm gonna go look in some of that timber out there in the middle, and then we're gonna get out of here. You want to get your camera out. I've got the ultimate mess right here. Son of a gun. This is stupid. I looked at them and said they're setting up like crappie. No, they're too big to be crappie. That's over 2 pounds. We're gonna run back down the lake. I ran up here. It looks nice, but I just don't have enough time to really break it down. And so we're gonna go down lake and kind of commit to the area that we were fishing in yesterday. It's 2 main creeks, pretty community hole stuff, but I'm just gonna try to find a couple sneaky things today, really. If I can find 4 or 5 sneaky spots, that accomplishes our goal. So have I given up on the shallow spinnerbaiting and flipping? In a way, yes. I still will throw a spinnerbait quite a bit this week, keeping it honest. But I think I'm gonna have to fish more isolated cover, getting in those field of cypress trees. It's really hard to pick out the good trees. You just can't be very efficient. And so I'm gonna fish down lake, try to fish more isolated cover. And some of it's deep, 15 feet, brush piles. Some of it's shallow, just a single stump and 3 feet. It's all relative. The big key is it needs to have some type of deeper water close and be isolated. That seems to be the key to getting a bass bite right now. I'd bite that. Oh, braid. Feels so good. My goal is to catch one on that this week. Not a bunch, just one. I want to throw that in the brush pile and have it go donk. If I had another day of practice, I'd probably just end up spreading myself out further. So I'm gonna use these last, dang, it is only 2 hours left. Crap. It's really like an hour and a half left because we got a 20-minute boat ride. I'm gonna use this last little bit, try to find 1 or 2 more little off the wall type deals, really just scanning for brush. And hopefully we can find that. If not, we've got about 40 places marked and we're gonna run them. And then when we're done with those 40, we're gonna run them again. That's how committed we are. Check out this dude right here. Feel that.
What's this?
It's a Kistler. It's a BFS rod. I mean, that thing is flimsy though, son. I mean, it had loaded up. It's a BFS rod. I'm not a, oh my goodness. Look at that. Yeah, I don't even know if you could. You better wind it fast. It hooks himself. I've actually got a ton of tackle to do for today. Like a ton. I'm gonna do all this tackle and rig up all this sexy stuff, and I'm gonna throw 2 rods tomorrow, and they're both probably gonna be spinning rods. It's embarrassing. We're not here to look cool, we're here to make money, okay? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get so obliterated on this thing tomorrow. Like, dude, it looks so good. This is like the best looking one I've ever rigged. The vibes on Santee are that it's very, very tough. It's kind of what I expected. I mean, I knew this was gonna be a grinder event, and it has lived up to that. I didn't know it was gonna be quite this bad. I mean, we've got some unfavorable weather conditions. Cold, muddy, low water, all of that wrapped up into, honestly, a lake that doesn't have a lot of bass per acre, in my opinion. And that makes for a very, very tough event. You know, we just came from Toledo Bend, where I felt like I was just constantly around a ton of fish, to here, and you can go a long time and feel like you've just never been within casting distance of a bass. So I think it's gonna be really important to get an area that you're confident that has bass, and then fish everything in that area. Fish very specific, fish methodically, and also being able to find something that maybe other competitors aren't fishing, whether it's a smaller piece of cover, more subtle break, or something like that. We're gonna be able to see a lot of bass tomorrow with our live scope. Fishing structure, not like Toledo where we were just scoping individual fish. The question is, can we make them bite? And it's not easy to do. Like, it's tough. I mean, I've had, probably yesterday, I probably had 30 plus fish track my bait in some way, shape, or form, be it a jerk bait, crank bait, and caught 5. So knowing that could be a bit of a frustrating day, being like, eat it, eat it, eat it, and they don't. Or maybe we get 10 of them to bite and we have a great day. It won't take much. My goal tomorrow is 8 bass. That's 3 bass a period for 2 periods, and then 1 slow period where you only catch 2 bass. So, gonna have a really cold, like, post-frontal day tomorrow. Overall fishing conditions wise, worst conditions we'll have all week. They should get more favorable. The fish should hopefully start to act a little better, be a little more aggressive. But tomorrow, it's gonna be a grind. But one thing is for sure, Santee Cooper has big ones in it. Thank you guys for watching the practice video from Santee Cooper here with the Trimmed Up series. If you guys want to see my last video, championship round, Toledo Bend, click right up here. Stay tuned for more.